LOL take two. LOL take two. LOL take two. Now listen. Among the many passages we go through as we ease on down the road of our life is this thing called retirement. So many passages are by-the-book passages, like graduating from high school or college. There's no mistaking that passage. You wear a cute little hat and a variation of a church choir outfit, basically looking like an extra in Madonna's Like a Prayer video. Been there, done that. Another by-the-book passage is becoming a teenager when you turn 13. Again, there's no disputing that passage. You get pimples, you're moody, your parents start hating you, and you suddenly think you are the first person in the entire world who has invented this amazing thing called whacking off. Been there, done that as well. But the passage called retirement, each person's journey is completely individual. It can happen at any time or not happen. The Cambridge Dictionary defines retirement as the act of leaving your job and stopping working, usually because you are old. Really, Cambridge Dictionary? How rude. When you're young, the whole concept of retirement is like, yeah, whatever, because it seems so far off. But suddenly, you have decades of working under your belt. Yes, you're old, and you realized long ago that whacking off was not invented by you, but rather has been one of the great joys of being a guy since, well, forever. I started at my job in 2002, a mere 2 years after a devastating commercial strike and a particularly lean year in showbiz. A part-time night job fell into my lap in the typing pool, aka word processing, at a law firm. The commute to Century City sucked big time, but I took the job anyway because it was flexible and, well, frankly, I needed the work. 5.5 years later, and after another lean year in showbiz, a full-time job in IT fell into my lap at the same law firm. I really didn't want to, but fortunately, I had the good sense to take the job with the caveat that I could, when necessary, shoot a TV show or commercial that came my way. Of course, a month later, I shot a huge Allstate commercial that played for several years. But I kept doing the job and discovered I had a unique talent for IT. I had many profitable showbiz years and other lean years, but the law firm was always a constant. I had always figured I'd wait until closer to my real magic birthday, the Medicare birthday, to stop working the job. However, I had a couple of untimely deaths of friends and family, and the job started to change. A year ago, we got yet another new manager, this time a reactionary aging frat boy who brought over his creepy micromanaging minion who spoke like a valley girl, and he never looked you in the eye. I thought, wait, these characters are now going to be in control of my income and bonus and tell me when I can use my month and a half's vacation time? On top of that, the firm was reneging on remote working. I provided service to all 7 offices worldwide and had been doing this successfully and remotely since COVID. I had done the math on how much time I had spent commuting the 14 miles, which took 2.5 hours each day. In the 18 years I had dutifully made that drive, I had spent a solid year in my car. 525,600 minutes sitting on my butt in an automobile and experiencing road rage. Talk about a waste of a year of your life. The final straw was that they demoted my boss of 13 years, and I was now reporting to yet another newly hired creepy micromanager. And it got me thinking, can I maybe retire at 62? Bill put in a decade at his last job, gave them much notice on his retirement, but found himself twiddling his thumbs his last full work week. On Wednesday of that week, he told his boss he was going to lunch and never coming back. Now, Bastille Day is the anniversary of the storming of the Bastille on July 14th, 1789, a major event in the French Revolution. When Bill went for his Subway Club sandwich that day and never came back, I referred to that day as his Bastille Day, and it is noted and celebrated as a recurring holiday in our household calendar. My mom retired from a job she had worked at for over 20 years back in 2008 during the Great Recession. Hers was a much more standard retirement, complete with a construction paper chain in which she removed one link every day until her last day. The company threw her a retirement party and our family attended. We got to meet the people she loved working with, as well as the pains in the ass she was happy to be escaping. In fact, her chain-smoking hillbilly assistant snubbed her and didn't attend Mom's party. When my brother and I were helping pack up the last of Mom's stuff, we accidentally dropped salami and cheese slices left over from the party into the hillbilly's file cabinet folders. Yes, it was childish and hateful, but we got a kick out of being so naughty. Later, Mom heard that the hillbilly was still finding stinky dried salami and cheese slices for years afterward and wondered where in the hell they had come from. Last summer, I began 9 months of doing my homework to see if I was just a cranky old employee who would regret the decision, or maybe, just maybe, I could really retire. When plotting out my timeline, it had to be top secret, even from my work wife, Jackie. It was like planning D-Day because there is no one-size-fits-all checklist to get through it. Everybody has their opinions, from your financial advisor to Susie Orman to your high school chums who have retired ahead of you. All great advice. But it turns out to be a very solitary process that is exciting, but frankly scary as hell. I could have sired a child in those 9 months. Bill kept telling me, "You're obsessing about this." Listen, mister, I've been happily retired for 13 years. I remember somebody sitting in his chair with a Casio solar calculator at his side for months and months, obsessing. I mean, yes, I have Excel spreadsheets with 10 tabs ranging from projections to investment options to lists of pros and cons, as well as a master retirement checklist. But don't you dare judge me just because I have better technology than you did. And when plotting out my eventual escape, I had to look ahead. End of the year holidays. Might as well hang in there for all that paid time off. End of year fiscal bonus and profit sharing in February. Hell yes, not missing those. Bill and I vacation at this amazing condo in Puerto Vallarta, and we booked a year in advance for the first 2 weeks of April. At the end of March, 2 days before our trip to PV, I pushed the button on my exciting news, Tony from Tech is retiring email. My Bastille day, waving that red flag and singing "One Day More" was finally within my reach. Our place in PV is on the water facing west, so a fabulous sunset from the wraparound balcony is guaranteed. I swim every day in the sea for at least an hour. I'm a really good swimmer, but I have to admit, ocean swimming scares the crap out of me. The sea is so much bigger than me, and there are lots of scary things about it, but I do it anyway. I grew up in the Midwest. We had lakes. You're worried about getting leeches on you, not getting stung by jellyfish or having a herd of stingrays doing synchronized swimming and leaping out of the water 5 feet from you. Yes, that happened this trip. I came back from vacation, already mentally checking out, and finished stuff up my last 2 weeks of work. Now, as much as I was looking forward to this, I didn't know how emotional it would be. I went into the office one last time, got taken out to lunch by friends, did my exit interviews, made the rounds, and said goodbyes. I took my final "Ain't No Mountain High Enough" photo in front of the building. My mom had done one when she retired, and I always liked it. I dutifully sent my "nice working with you" email to the people I liked. I got some nice emails back from folks. Some of them actually made me cry. I got one back from this assistant who said, "Tony, enjoy the rest of your time here on Earth." Oh my God, lady, I know you meant well, but do you work at Forest Lawn on the weekends? I then did my final commute home from Century City, 14 miles that took an hour and a half. I was too emotional to deal with traffic, so my Waze app sent me home the back way, winding through the Hollywood Hills, a left on Sunset Boulevard to Hillcrest, then back down to Sunset Plaza, then back up to Doheny. Finally, I got to the crest of the Hollywood Hills and started down Lookout Mountain Drive. Suddenly, I see a house I recognize. It was from one of my first acting teachers I had out here in L.A. She used to run classes out of her house, and it's not an exaggeration to say she changed my life and gave me a career. I wouldn't have these 2 decades of pension credits if I hadn't discovered her class, and if she really hadn't given me the tools that sadly I never got from my theater degree. Oh my God, I got weepy again. When I finally arrived home, I was absolutely spent and looking like Tammy Faye Baker. Bill asked how I was doing, and I said, "I need a shower and a beverage." He handed me my mail, and as it turned out, that day I received my first SAG pension check. More tears, but not for looking back, rather looking ahead. So here I am, my first day when, for decades, I would have been logging onto my computer. But today, I don't have to. Instead, I make a cup of tea, put my feet up in my lounge chair, and write. I don't have to be anywhere until 1 p.m. when we go to the Huntington Gardens to see all the roses in bloom and an art exhibition. Wait, do I have to log on? No, stop. You don't have to do that anymore. But if I hadn't for those 22 and a half years and hadn't taken that acting class and schlepped to all those auditions over the last 4 decades, I wouldn't be sitting here able to do this. My godfather, Jim, retired at 58 after seeing his still working younger brother die suddenly of a heart attack. His philosophy is, it's not that I retired, I just got another life. I love that. And this is my other life, kicking butt on my podcast, booking more live podcast readings, my book of essays, more fresh air, taking whatever interesting showbiz gigs come my way, more walks with Brody the dog, and more continuing to travel the world with my husband of 39 years. It's not an end. It's a great big beginning. Like the sea, retirement is so much bigger than me, and there are lots of scary things about it. But I'm doing it anyway.
LOL take two. LOL take two. LOL take two. Ba 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 bum.